7 minutes after the hour. Can you hear me now? Oh my gosh, Shane.
I'll check. Just hold on. I'm going to unmute.
Okay. Oh man. KMMS, as usual, having problems nationwide, I guess, with the anything is not local. So I hope you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hear me out there. So if you want to be a part of the big broadcast this morning with Tom and Shane, hey, it's easy to do. 406 522 Talk, 406 522 8255. Or you can text us at 406 478 8298. How about that? Or you can app chat us on our app chat line. Although I can't get the app chat line, Shane, because we got no internet here. So So I'm not sure about you app chatters. We're going to have to, I don't know. You're going to have to just resort to the text line, I guess. So, but
Well, I mean, this is like unbelievable. Like overnight, the Wagner Group, which is Putin's own private army,
yeah,
run by his own best friend, this guy Yevgeny, what's his name, Yevgeny
I don't know. How come they don't use
whatever.
Smith in Russia?
I don't know. Prigozhin, yeah. He's Putin's chief. I mean, he's been with Putin since the beginning. This is a mercenary army. Putin and him
Mhm.
put it together under the Wagner Group. They call it in Russia. It's got over 50,000 troops under this guy's command, and he's left the Ukraine and entered Russia, and he's taken over a town and decided that he's not too happy with the way the what do you call the
The
principal
war.
lead no the principal leaders of the Russian army in Moscow, and what they're doing is terrible, and here you and I can't tell everybody about it around the world.
I know. Oh well, I don't know. Ukraine is pretty much old news anymore. Anything that comes out of there has suspect shade. I don't even care anymore.
Well, but Putin took over because the previous leader, Boris Yeltsin, couldn't win the war in Chechnya.
Yeah.
And as we all remember, 20 years ago, he came in and won the election and immediately decimated Chechnya
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the capital, leveling the capital literally to the ground. I mean, it was,
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of these things that you see in history and you go, wow, it's still going on, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as a private military company in Russia, it's a basically it replaced the intelligence agency GRU that Putin worked for, and he hired all the guys from the GRU to build this thing. And it was armed with all the newest and best equipment in the Russian military. Well, now this guy's like less than 500 miles or something from Russia. He's liberated two towns without firing a shot in Russia.
Mhm.
So the Russian people clearly are, not opposed to what he's doing. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he marches on Moscow. Get back to me then.
Okay,
We'll think about it. So
enough of that then.
yeah, that's I don't know. I
It's pretty major. They
yeah.
got 6,000 new nukes, so it's
Well, I don't know. I just feel like we're pouring money down a rabbit hole in Ukraine.
well, of course we are.
I think
But
they're just taking our money, and they'll eventually be Russian. So I don't
yeah, well, what really is going on is, like you called what's going on in North Korea with the Chinese
know.
using North Korea to test its nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
The U.S. military is using Ukraine to test new weapons that they're not telling anyone about. They're just using them and seeing how they work.
Yeah. Well, I'm still a little confused why the UN isn't going nuts because of bombing civilian targets. I mean they're bombing apartment houses and churches and schools
I
and
know.
hospitals and everything else. Where the hell is the UN?
Well, Russia and China are on the Security Council, the Big Six, so they can stop anything in its track that anybody wants to
Well,
talk
but I
about. So
mean,
no
people
talking about
people at
it.
the UN still have the ability to stand up and denounce this,
Well, right.
and
That's gonna.
nobody is.
That's,
You know,
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
gonna
we aren't
happen.
even.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, well, of course, we're supporting the Ukraine, so we can't
Ukrainian.
get.
Yeah.
But you know, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think we're. I don't think the U.S. is bombing any hospitals or whatever in what we were in Afghanistan, Iraq, either one. I don't think we did any of that. Maybe we did. I don't know.
Well, no, the collateral damage maybe in other bombings, but
Yeah.
nothing directly.
Okay.
It's it's against the Geneva Convention. It's just I mean war's bad enough. That's
Mhm.
genocide when you start
Yeah.
doing things like
Well, the
that.
Geneva Convention's only good if everybody follows it. Nobody does but us. You know,
Yeah,
so
that's right.
why even have the damn thing? I mean, if you're gonna fight a war with somebody, go all out. You know.
That's what's going on in Ukraine. It's
Well,
all out, baby.
that's
It's
what
all out war.
Putin knows. Nobody's gonna come after him for bombing hospitals or schools or churches or residential apartment buildings or anything
No,
else. So what's the problem?
true.
No, so
That's
I
right.
don't know. Well, anyway, the big story of the week, of course, the submarine, Shane. The submarine went down on Sunday to go visit the Titanic with 4 or 5 people on board, and it imploded, I guess, from all reports. So,
That's right, and I think it needs to be said because it's important that you know Julio Ermo Solomon. He was born in 1966. He's an Argentine-born American social entrepreneur who made money developing some interesting technologies. It's out of the state of Washington. This company, and I just want to make mention of the fact that he left the company in 2013. So 10 years ago, but he has gone on a number of, several number of trips down to, in that submarine. But everything you're hearing on television about the company and what happened, he's really not had anything to do with it. It's not had anything to do with him.
well, the thing they talked about is that it shouldn't have been an elongated craft. It should have been a sphere for that depth, which would be much more safe. The sphere is more, uh, stable at those depths than something elongated would be.
Yeah,
And
and these two guys, they worked out of Everett, Washington. I only interrupt you really quick, because back in the 1980s, they're the ones that developed the deep suit diving equipment that was used in the 80s and 90s to do all the work on rigs, in the Caribbean. It was like this. What's the snowman or the what was it? In Ghostbusters, like the big marshmallow man.
yeah,
Anyway, they were yellow and red, and it was quite interesting technology because a man was able to go in it and go down, to 1,500 feet, although that's not as deep as they'd go. Most of these towers in the Caribbean for platforms, oil platforms, are about 700 to 1,000 feet deep water. But they could go down and weld and help put it together,
yeah.
And then several people came along and got involved in this idea because of the Titanic, actually, the making of the movie. And I mean, there's a lot of smaller machines that the navies around the world, including the U.S., the Japanese, the Russians, the Chinese, they all have them for their submarines. And then the Kursk, that nightmare occurred, and the Americans are the ones that went down and found it. and was an amazing story. Made a movie about that as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, Stockholm Rush, who's the CEO of this company, there's 47 employees, and he's the one who's having to answer for it. And I imagine they'll be at the end of the day, they'll probably go bankrupt because of lawsuits and so on and so on.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, he can't answer for it because he's dead.
No, he's not.
The CEO is.
Stockholm, Stockton Rush isn't dead. Guillermo Solomon, who used to be the CEO, is dead.
No, the Prescott guy is dead. The CEO guy is dead.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, but anyway, long story short, the original guy that helped found it was not involved. So
yeah,
that's
no, he wasn't there. So yeah, well, we know that people have successfully gone to the Titanic. They found it. They brought up all kinds of articles from it that we've all seen on PBS and other outlets. So it's possible to get down there in the even what is it, 12,000 feet of water. So it's pretty.
Wow,
that's pretty.
Wow.
It's a couple miles, almost 3 miles. So.
Yeah, the Navy's, like you said, the Navy's said that the debris field is pretty significant in size, and there's no way there'd be anything left of human bodies after the implosion. We're just a bag of water. So
I was going to say, you just explode. So one of the questions was, has the Navy covered this up? Did they know right away?
Of course they did.
Some people think that, they heard the implosion, sonar picked it up or whatever, and but they kind of drew this out for who knows why, for, several days, putting the families through that and whatever. But, I'm not sure the thinking of the Navy to, immediately say this is pretty much a done deal.
Well, judging from what they finally did admit when the machines that they sent down to get a verbal confirmation, the Navy heard it when. They heard it when they lost contact. They heard the explosion, and it's if you ever watched Hunt for Red October, the remarkable thing was the technology in the movie used to identify the submarine that came out of Russia. Remember, it sounded like a whale, and and so the Navy has all kinds, and now with artificial intelligence, they can identify every submarine in the world known to them. By their propeller. I mean, just the sound the propeller makes, because it's like a footprint. It's like a fingerprint. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they heard this thing pop, and they just didn't want to admit to it. Probably because of not wanting to talk about the technology that they have, and everything no one can know about.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, you'd think some of these private things, the government operates on the lowest bidder, but the regular folks don't always do that. They operate by who puts out the best stuff. And I don't know if they've ever taken this thing down there before. I don't know why why they use this particular vehicle. If it had been there before, if it hadn't been there before, I think you would test it somehow without people on it, but who knows? Too many unanswered questions, Shane.
Richard Stockholm Rush III, you're right. He did perish in this incident, and he was the CEO and one of the original founders. I get excited because I try to keep awareness of reading back on all of this, and
I know.
Sometimes you download your brain and don't get it all.
That's fine. Yeah, well, at least he's not going to have to stand up and do a press conference about how sorry he is for the families, because they're going to be standing up and saying how sorry they are for him.
That's
and
true.
the other people that were in there. Well, I think there was also another father and dad that passed on the trip, so the father and dad that were on it could go. So, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the day
they
the
were,
music died with Waylon
yeah.
Jennings
I
giving up his seat
I think
on
he
the
was I
plane.
think he was yeah, I think he was a businessman from England, but
Yeah.
from they're
Mhm.
originally from Pakistan. But can you imagine taking your son?
Mhm.
His son was 16 years old.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the sad
That's
part. That
huge.
Well, if there's any solace to this, the chances are they didn't feel anything. They didn't sit there and die of lack of
No,
oxygen or something
freeze.
like that or freeze. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
1/1000th of a second. They said
yeah.
at that pressure, 600
Oh yeah.
pounds per square inch.
I was gonna say if you gotta go,
Yeah.
instantaneous is better than a long drawn out painful experience. So
Well, it tells you
mhm.
how vulnerable human beings are. We live in a
Yeah.
narrow
Hmm.
sphere of atmosphere and pressure and
Yeah.
oxygen, and
Hmm.
you walk outside of that in space or in below 90 feet in the water. It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I was watching a program last night about Mars and the satellites that have been set up there. They've now basically taken pictures of over 90% of the surface of Mars, and we've only explored like 20% of the ocean.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Like I say, yeah, we've sent 16 men to the moon, and all these other advances that we have, satellites to Mars and all of that stuff. But yeah, the
Yeah,
the oceans are pretty well untapped, and
that's right. More
they're
men have been in space than
yeah,
than at the bottom of the ocean,
yeah,
looking around what's down there.
yeah, yeah. It's well, it's a tragedy, unfortunately, and it, of course, dominated the airwaves for the first most of the week, keeping the other news off the channel. So, which we're going to talk about that other news here coming up in the next
There we
two
go.
and a half hours.
That's
So
right.
we'll be talking about that. I want to apologize to our app chat folks. I can't get on the internet, but of course, the text line works. So
Oh, that's good.
if you want to
That's
text
good
me,
news. Yeah.
478-8298, 406-478-8298. But I don't know if there's anything we need to look up. Shane will have to look it up because I can't. We are KMMS after all. I mean, so you gotta expect that we're not gonna have everything we need here. So just the two of us, right, Shane?
It's only the two of us.
Yeah.
Lucky us, right? I mean,
I
gee
guess, yeah.
whiz.
Well, there could be two other people sitting here, but I'm glad it's us. So anyway,
Well, people can call on the phone, can't they?
yeah, they can call on the phone, sure. As far as
Well,
I know, I don't know.
yeah,
Nobody's called yet,
that's
but
that's
they may not know we're on,
that's
Shane.
yeah. Well,
If they were
oh,
listening
yeah,
to the
they can't
outdoor
hear it.
radio show, they would
Yeah,
know. They may think, "Oh, Tom and Shane aren't on if the radio
yeah,
outdoor guys aren't on." So,
yeah. You
well,
can't. I keep checking it, and I'm not getting any reception.
yeah,
And I can't hear anything. So
yeah,
maybe people figured that the show's not on, so they're not calling, and that's too bad.
yeah. Well, if it is, we're taping the show. It's taping, so the
Yeah.
replay
Oh, there's
replay
a
will
phone
be
call.
available. So yeah, somebody's trying to call our text line.
There
It's
you
not a
go.
phone line. It's a text line. So
It's a text line.
yeah, so don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's very good. I like
yeah, don't do that.
it.
Doesn't work. So yeah, make it a text 406-478-8298 or 406-522-TALK if you want to be on the air with the amazing and award-winning Tom and Shane. We're happy to have you on the air at any time. So happy to have you.
Absolutely. That's why we have the show, so
That's
you
it.
can
Yeah.
participate and
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So hitch a ride with us and get that thumb out there
Yeah.
and come along on our magical, talking tour this morning.
That's it. Well, good news, Shane. Today at 9 o'clock will be the final 16 weeks of Trump actions. Today's going to be the last one of those. So
Has it been 16 weeks?
I've got 16 weeks that we've done, yeah.
Wow.
So 3 months worth.
That's almost half a year.
Well, yeah. Some animals don't live that long, huh?
That's right. Well, insects certainly.
Yeah. Well, I would give you what day it is nationally, but I can't get that. Last week was Bunker Hill Day and Combat Desertification Day. So I'm not sure what today is, but anyway, it's something. So
it'll be something. Yeah.
So anyway, well, we come back. We got a lot to talk about. We've got to talk about Hunter Biden, of course. We got to talk about the Schiff show. And Durham showed up, Shane, at the Senate hearings, and we've got to tell you how to get your Montana tax rebates too. If you didn't hear us last week, you have automatic tax rebates coming from the state of Montana, and I'll tell you how to get those as we go along. And also, we got August 14th for a trial date for the Trump documents. So we'll see if that. I would bet they'd get a continuance on that, Shane. I'm not. That's a little soon, I think.
Hey, I got it, baby. Today is Go Skating Board Day, International Day of Yoga, International Yoga Day, National Day of the Gong, National Daylight Appreciation Day, National Peaches and Cream Day, National Seashell Day, and Chris Pratt's birthday. So there you go.
All that on a Saturday?
Yeah, today, yeah. And the big day is the National Day Calendar. There you go. That's the list, okay?
Okay.
National Day Calendar, really.
Okay, good deal. All right, cross your fingers. We may be back after the news at the bottom of the hour, so stay tuned. Who knows what could happen? So we'll be back. Hang on. All right. 522-TALK is the number, 406-522-8255. If you want to be a part of the big show, it's Saturday. It's June 14th, 2023, 29 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. Mountain Time. And Shane and I will return right after the news at the bottom of the hour. 27 minutes for the top of the hour, and it's Saturday. It's June 24th, 2023. We are on the radio. We're not on the app. We're having some technical issues. We have had technical issues for about a week on KMMS, so I don't have internet access, but the text line is working. So thank you for that. So you can text us 478-8298 and AM 1450 KMMS. The app is not working, so that's where we find ourselves. So yesterday, Shane, I had the opportunity to meet Right On John. Aaron was doing his show from the Grand Tree yesterday morning and went down there and sat in for a few minutes with him, but got to meet some folks that were our listeners, and a lot of appreciation for you, I might add.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, pretty good. I don't know. I was there for 2 hours, and I think I talked probably less than 5 minutes. He had wall-to-wall guests in there for all kinds of stuff. So I just got educated from all the people that came in. So yeah, I had a lot of people there. So
that's excellent.
So yeah,
live audience.
Yeah. Well, Right On John sent his best to you. You know, he appreciates the fact checker moniker, and whatever. So,
well, he is the man.
Well, that's it. Yeah. All right. So we got to talk about a little bit about Hunter, Shane. Hunter Biden has. Well, I don't know. Did he get a sweetheart deal or not? I guess that's the question we need to talk about. He tax evasion for 2 years and a gun charge of falsely filling out a gun registration document, being addicted to narcotics, which is you're not supposed to get a gun if that is the case, but he lied about that on his application. So, what do you think?
Well, it's going to be interesting because it's a process. They've spent 7 years investigating him. Then the lawyers in the last 3 weeks meet together with the Attorney General's office, the Department of Justice, because it's federal investigation. And they leak it to the press that he's going to be charged with some type of tax evasion. It's a misdemeanor, so doesn't really have a criminal record, and he's signed off on 1 year probation, and he doesn't do anything wrong. They won't take up the gun charge, and anybody else wants to complain about it, too bad. But here's the difficult problem that they have, and that is that for this to end, it has to go before a judge. So this judge is Mary Ellen Noriega. She was appointed August 9th, 2018 by Trump. So this is a federal judge appointed by Trump. You got to assume she knows the Constitution as a mega person, because that's what she's going to be accused of. Yeah. But, she covered the lawsuit Trump had against, we talked about this on our website. She was involved in the lawsuit Trump had against the country, or against, anyways, decisions she made were turned down by the appeal court by by Trump's lawyers, and then not only did they turn it down, but they ordered her to dismiss the case. So this is one of these situations where a judge has to make a decision. Now, she doesn't have to accept what they've negotiated with him, and she could impose a prison term, which they say marks out at something like a year in jail. But we'll see. She could also say, "Excuse me, gentlemen, I'd like to see some information on the investigation with regards to his computer." Like, she could ask for more information and say, based upon what you've recommended, I don't think I have enough information to make a decision. So she could be a stick in the mud, but knowing how Republicans are, and that
that's the case. The other thing too is that of the 25,000 gun crimes committed, I guess, or this type of crime, I guess, most of the people who lied on their application were already known felons. They were already wanted for various things. That's between 2013 and 2017. And during those 4 years, only 614 people were convicted of anything. And again, it was a misdemeanor, I believe, for lying on their application about being drug addicts. So it wasn't, I guess the Justice Department went out of their way to prosecute this when only 600 over 4 years had been prosecuted before. So, they could have just as easily ignored it and, asked it to go away.
Well, one of the issues and we should probably have a conversation on a podcast about this, is plea bargaining. Plea bargaining is something that came out of the Marshall Court back in the 60s, when you had a right to be represented by a lawyer and so forth. Yeah. And the result of it is that if you're given a government lawyer to represent you, paid by the public, they want you to plea bargain a deal out, so it doesn't go to court and it doesn't involve a lot of time, because they're both lawyers working for the government, not getting paid a lot, and they're all overworked. So what it's done is created this two-tiered system of those that can afford a lawyer and those that can't. I know politically they're talking about two-tiered system, but it is a two-tiered system because of money and plea bargaining. So this is why so many people in your country who are guilty, known to be guilty, known to be criminals, arrested numerous times, charged like dozens, if not more than 50 times or whatever for crimes. They plea bargain it out. And the judges just go along with it. And, the prosecutor comes in for the government or the city or the state, the county, and says, Your Honor, we plea bargain this out and blah, blah, blah. And the judge goes, okay, send it up to me. And they send her the document, signs off, and whatever the plea bargain is. It's a terrible thing in the type of civil justice that your Constitution represents. And it doesn't protect the public. So that's the terrible thing. It protects the guilty, which a lot of these are. People aren't charged because they're innocent. They're charged to be proven guilty. So it's same thing in our country. It's regrettable.
Yeah, it is. It's a sad situation, but I think they advised him to do the smart thing. Plead to these two things. You're not going to get you're just going to get a slap on the hand. As far as the taxes went, a lot of these people, they keep comparing Wesley Snipes and Willie Nelson and some of these other people that went to prison. They didn't file tax returns, or their accountants didn't file them, or they didn't file them correctly. But in this case, Hunter did file the returns. He just didn't pay the taxes.
Well, yeah, but that's not what this is about. I appreciate you saying that, but he didn't take a bullet for his family. He took a paintball, and I say that because this is all a package deal between the Department of Justice and the Attorney General and the Biden family and Hunter Biden, meaning that by setting it up this way with this misdemeanor on taxes, they can lock all the information down. Part of this settlement agreement is the government agrees with him that, all of his personal information and tax information is now sealed. Well, that means no one else can get access to it, without going to court for anything else they're investigating the Biden family. And clearly with the information now about these emails and stuff that have come out this week, it's an organized crime family, and it has been for like 50 years, or certainly since Biden was vice president. So the water is muddied once again by your protocol and procedure in court and the court of law as to being able to find out, how guilty or if someone is guilty.
Well, these two things against him won't affect any investigation of Dad.
No, but they're locked down because that would be in the agreement. So that's another thing this judge has to look at. She may say, well, you've sealed all this documentation and there are other investigations going on, so I'm not going to agree to, sealing these. We'll see.
Yeah.
This will happen once it goes before her, which.
But I think you could subpoena the records. It's IRS stuff. You could subpoena the records. His tax.
Well, yeah,
returns.
but if it's sealed by an agreement like this, Tom, they have to go to court to break that seal.
Well, they would, yeah. They'd have to go to court for a subpoena too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you.
I know.
Yeah. That's why it takes so long for all these things to happen. Lawyers fill up the court calendars because there's only so many. Hearings a year in a courtroom, no matter how many courts you have, and it's just it's like a football team playing on the defense. Why throw the ball when we can just run it?
Run out the clock. Yeah,
run out the clock.
Yeah, that's the whole point of what they're talking about here is that plead guilty to these two things. You don't do jail time. You pay your taxes. The lawyer. Biden's lawyer loaned him the money to pay the taxes, so taxes have been paid, and but we don't want this to go to trial because it'll go into trial during the 2024 election, and we don't want anything that's going to side rail, or derail Biden any more than he already has by his own actions. So we're
or as the military say, his own recognizance.
Yeah, right. So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out.
Well, we knew this would happen because, as a vice president, his father got him into the Navy.
Yeah.
And as the vice president's son, the Navy threw him out when they found out he was a drug.
Mm-hmm.
He was a drug user.
Yeah.
He wasn't court-martialed. They just threw him
They
out.
just relieved him of duty, so to speak.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's what is that? That's
no, but I mean that's how simple. I mean, anybody else in the Navy that was caught on base, which he was, with drugs in a crack pipe, and literally caught doing it. And I both know that they would be sitting in a federal penitentiary right now. I mean, they would. They just would.
Yeah. I forget what
military courts are brutal. We've talked about that.
Yeah, I forget what they call that type of discharge. It's not an
dishonorable.
Huh?
Dishonorable.
No, it isn't. It's not a dishonorable discharge.
I think that's what he got.
No, I don't think so. If I could look it up, I would. But you'll have to look it up during the break at the top of the hour. Let's see if he got a now there's honorable discharge, a dishonorable discharge, and then there's another one, and I don't know the name of it. And unfortunately, our text line or our phone line isn't not our phone line into the studio, but I mean our app chat line isn't working. So,
and your internet,
the people that normally listen to us online, aren't going to be able to get us. So. But anyway, speaking of sons, Shane, Hunter Biden pleading guilty to tax offenses is by no means the first family member of a U.S. president who has run into personal troubles and caused political problems for the occupant in the White House. The eldest son of the sixth president, John Quincy Adams, was thrown out of Harvard for drinking and partying, Shane. Guys gets thrown out of Harvard. John Quincy Adams. And he eventually became president. Let's see. Jimmy Carter's brother, Billy. We remember Billy Beer, right? had a litany of offenses, including his work on behalf of the Libyan government that paid him $220,000 from Tripoli, and the twin daughters of George W. Bush were busted for underage drinking, and Hillary Clinton's brothers were accused of shady business dealings during Bill Clinton's time in the White House. So, so we got a lot of sons and daughters here that didn't live the American dream while Dad was in the White House. So I'll give you a heads up on that. So
there it is, yeah.
Well, instead of dinner or instead of jail, Hunter goes to the state dinner, Shane.
That's right.
Yeah, Thursday night, he attended the White House state dinner, the first official appearance since reaching a plea deal to resolve a 5-year federal investigation into his failure to pay about $1 million in federal taxes and his illegal prosecution of a gun, or possession of a gun, I should say. Biden attended the state dinner for the Indian Prime Minister, Modi. And on Tuesday, it was announced that Biden will plead guilty to misdemeanor tax offenses and is expected to reach an agreement with prosecutors on the felony charge of illegally possessing a firearm as a drug user. So that's where we are with that. So so Hunter's home free for the most part. He'll do a probationary time. They should have given him community service, Shane, I think. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been a better punishment if they have him not cleaning the highways.
What community would have wanted him around?
Well, I understand. He could process people at the border. Maybe that would be a good place for him. So I don't know, man. It's not a good deal. So. Oh well. Let's see how much time we got left. Well, we can start in on Durham, maybe, Shane. Durham testified in front of Congress, put Adam Schiff on his heels at one time, and pretty well debunked the Trump situation with the dossier and the whole 9 yards. Just threw that out the window.
Yeah. Well, the whole bottom line, once again, the laws of protocol and procedure, reached out and grabbed him by the neck. He's a junkyard dog. He had his previous history is that he had had a Republican governor, I believe, of Connecticut, ended up in jail because of corruption, and a couple of FBI agents that he investigated. So he had this record of being a junkyard dog.
Yeah.
He'd get the job done. Well, he didn't. Well, the terrible thing you found out is he knew in 2020 everything that he talked about this last week in front of Congress. So he should have made it an updated report. He should have done what the head of the FBI did, except come out in 2020 before the election and say, no, this is what's happened so far. And, the FBI did interfere in 2016, and they're interfering now, obviously, because they did it before and didn't get in any trouble. But you don't have those kind of statesmen in your government. They just don't exist. They can't call anyone out. They can't stand up and say something, except the Democrats do. The head of the FBI gets up and says, "Oh, we couldn't possibly prosecute her for what she did wrong."
Yeah.
And then they turn around 4 years later and prosecute Trump for it. It's just the abuse is so overwhelming that I think it's coming to a point where people just are going, I can't believe these people are this bad. Yeah. Like, you can't be. Is it really this bad? I mean, it's bad.
Well, it certainly seems to be by everything that everything that we've seen and heard. We used to have a lot of respect for the FBI, the CIA, all these people that were supposedly protecting us, and now we find out that they're as political as anyone else. The IRS is also politicized, and our trust in government has been so badly tainted that you can't believe anything that comes out of Washington any longer.
That's right. Hunter Biden was discharged October 17th, 2014 from the Navy Reserve after failing a drug test for the use of cocaine. So here's the deal. He went in there because he was unemployed. And he, although he has he'd had a previous job, and he was working. He just at the time he didn't have a job, so
in the Navy
he applied
in the Navy.
I'm sorry,
in the Navy. He didn't have a job in the Navy.
No, he was an attorney before that, but he applied to join the Naval Reserve as a public affairs officer and was selected in 2012. He was one of 7 candidates and had been recommended for a direct commission for public affairs. So he had to go into the Navy and get a commission. The board of senior naval officers interviewed Biden before making the recommendation. That's not impressive. Because he was 42 at the time, he needed a special waiver to accepted. They made him a commander, or Commander Ryan Perry, a spokesman for the Navy, said Biden had been assigned to the Navy Public Affairs Support Element East, based in Norfolk, Virginia. So, a sweetheart job in 2014 because his father's vice president and he didn't have a job, paid doing nothing.
What kind of discharge did he get?
It just says discharge. I'll look up and see what they say about discharges.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, because I forget what it is. There's a specific name for it, and I don't remember. I don't remember what it is. So, sorry. Clueless, and I can't look it up either. So, I'm flying blind here, Shane.
Oh, well, that's right. I'll try and back you up.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to look everything up for me, so because I can't find half the stuff that we need to talk about today. So, all my, we can't get on the can't get on the internet. It shows my app chat the text line is open, but I don't think it's working either, Shane. I'm not getting anything, and I can't believe
Really?
the texters wouldn't be out there texting wildly into this. So we'll have to. Well, as I say, flying blind today. So, but it is KMMS. What more could you expect? So,
Well, it says he was dishonorably discharged, which was that's the type of discharge he got, dishonorable.
really? Okay. Well, I'm surprised at that because that goes on every job application you ever have. But
Plus, you lose all your benefits.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that brings me to another thing. Why isn't the news media finding out where this guy gets his income? What does he do other than paint? He sells these paintings, but he's paying his girlfriend in Arkansas five grand a month, down from 20 grand a month, because he's a destitute person, I guess. But nobody seems to know where this guy gets his money.
Yeah, that's right. It's there's mixed opinion because apparently he's not renting a home in California anymore, and a lot of people are claiming he's actually living in the White House, but who knows?
Yeah. I'm gonna say Biden's got plenty of homes for him to live in. I guess he can sleep in the Corvette in the garage in Delaware, I guess, if he wants to. So.
Yeah, with the boxes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for the first hour. We miraculously got through that. So we still got 2 more of this to go. So we'll see what comes up. The phone line should be open, 522-TALK. So give us a call. We'll be right back. We've got to talk about how you get your Montana rebate. We'll get to that right after this. And the 10 Trump things for the final time. Good morning, everyone. Saturday, June 24th, 2023, 7 minutes after the hour of 9 a.m. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Matobin, half man, half amazing in Kamloops, Canada. And Shane has a point to cover.
Oh, nothing. I just looked up naval discharge. 8 types of military discharge. They're divided into 2 categories, administrative and punitive. The types of military discharge include an honorable military discharge, general discharge.
General is the one I was thinking of. General,
conditions, bad conduct discharge, dishonorable charge, and entry-level separation. His was a dishonorable discharge.
Yeah, general was the one I was thinking of. That just kind of kicks you out, but doesn't carry the full weight of the dishonorable.
Well, the least is entry-level separation, but he got a dishonorable discharge. I remember it because, it was back in 14 or whatever, and we talked about it, I think.
Yeah. Well, probably did. I don't know.
I'd have to go back, and memory doesn't serve me right. I have to go back and listen to my own words back then.
I was going to say, we got the shows. They're all online, so go back and listen to them. Well, Trump actions you didn't know about. Jobs. Some 228,000 new jobs were created in November, highlighting the strongest U.S. labor market since the turn of the century. The government also reported December 8th this is back in Trump's 17, that unemployment was unchanged at 4.4%, still nearly a 17-year low. And as I've said on the air a million times, Shane, I don't give presidents credit for job growth or job losses or whatever. So that's kind of a moot point. Yeah, whatever. Or the stock market or, whatever else they take credit for. Regulatory reform. President Trump announced December 14th his administration had far exceeded its promise to eliminate regulations at a 2-to-1 ratio and impose no lifetime net regulatory costs. In total, agencies issued 67 deregulatory actions, and my screen just went blank, 67 deregulatory actions, while imposing only 3 new regulatory actions, a ratio of 22 to 1. Federal agencies also achieved $8.1 billion in lifetime net regulatory savings. ISIS, between September 2014 and the counter-ISIS offensive began in January 2017. U.S.-backed forces in Iraq and Libya and Syria liberated 13,200 square miles of territory and 2.41 million people from the Islamic State rule. In the 11 months since Trump took office, an additional 26,800 square miles have been reclaimed and 5.3 million people have been liberated. When was the last time you heard anything about ISIS, Shane?
Well, yeah, because,
they're gone.
They're gone, number one. But number two, the important thing is they keep mentioning in the news about American troops in northern Syria, and that's because they're guarding the oil production that the U.S. seized under Trump. But no one wants to talk about that in the woke media. That the U.S. has access to that.
That's it.
But in the meantime, the leader of Syria still is seated. I say seated because he's still the dictator and running the country, which is sort of too bad.
Yeah. Climate. President Trump on December 18th removed climate change from the global threats listed in his national security strategy, reversing an Obama administration decision. Obama, in the most recent strategy document, declared climate change an urgent and growing threat to our national security.
Which apparently isn't true, because if you watched the news this morning, when you got up and had your coffee, you would have found out that all the dams in California that have been built were reservoirs that had been literally empty for 10 years as a result of the rain and the snowpack. Already in June of 2023 are full, in fact over full, and now releasing water because they can't hold what's been provided by Mother Nature. Global warming, man, it's doing so much good for everyone, and they don't want to talk about it.
I know, yeah. Regulatory reform. The Trump administration eliminated Obama era rules requiring that organic poultry have enough room to run around and that organic livestock have year-round access to an outdoor space and comfortable pens. And last but not least, tax reform. Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell praised President Trump December 20th for his leadership in the passage of the biggest tax overhaul in 30 years, with some $3.2 trillion in tax cuts, along with significant simplification of the tax code. He fulfilled his promise to reform the tax code, lower taxes on individual working Americans. And all you have to do is check the tax rates between Obama and now to know that's the case. And American companies, and encourage corporations that have sought tax shelters outside the U.S. to come home and employ Americans. So there you go. So fun and games.
That's pretty, that's pretty impressive. Oh, and just to add to this, because it's important, there are over 1,400 named dams and 1,300 named reservoirs in the state of California. So they have 2,700 small to large reservoirs of water for the state.
Well,
That's
there you go.
Just spectacular.
Yeah. Okay, the Montana Republican-controlled legislature directed hundreds of millions of dollars from the state's budget surplus, $899 million in total, toward income and property tax rebates during its 2023 session, and G40 signed those into law. So lawmakers passed 2 buckets of rebates, one focused on income taxes and the other on property taxes. So if you were a full-time Montana resident who paid your state taxes on 2020 and 2021 and you pay them on time, you should receive a rebate of up to $1,250 for your 2021 taxes. If you meet those requirements but paid less than $1,250 in taxes, you'll get whatever you paid. So the $1,250 cap applies to taxpayers who filed as single taxpayers, heads of household, or married taxpayers who filed separately. Married couples who filed jointly are eligible for up to twice the amount of $2,500. The law specifies that taxpayers who didn't file taxes as full or part-year residents or who paid their taxes late, you don't get the money, folks. So, on-time payment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't have to do anything to get that. That's going to happen automatically starting in July. If you paid whatever you paid in taxes, you're going to get a rebate if you qualify for that rebate. So, homeowners are eligible for up to $675 a year on their 2022 and 2023 property taxes on their principal residence, defined as the place where you've lived for at least 7 months of the year. And if you paid less than $675 in property taxes in either year, you'll be eligible for a refund of whatever you paid. So now this one, you do have to qualify for it, or you do have to file for it. While payments are often handled through banks for homes with mortgages, property tax payments are made to county treasurers twice a year, with payments due in November and May. The department says the 2022 rebate is applicable to November 22 and May 23 payments. To the 2023 rebate is applicable to November of 2023 and May of 2024. So you'll get, for the income tax rebate, you don't have to do anything. The Revenue Department, which says it will send rebates automatically to qualifying taxpayers, those should start in July, and the law requires all of them have to be completed by December 31st. Those who you have to apply for the property tax deduction, and you can only apply from August 15th to October 1st. August 15th to October 1st. So you have to get that done during that period of time. A second application period for 2023 rebates will be open across the same dates in 2024. So you get two chances at property tax relief, August of this year till October 1st, and the same dates next year. So if you don't remember how much you paid in state income tax, it's line 20 on your 2021 Montana individual tax income return form. So if you rent, you don't qualify because the renter, the old property owner, pays the property taxes. So
There
so
you go.
if you're a renter, even though your part of your rent goes toward property taxes, Democrats tried to get that through, but they failed to get renters in there as well. So it'd probably be tough for a landlord to figure out how much. Well, they know how much they paid in property taxes, so how much rebate they could keep and how much they would give to a renter. I don't know. Anyway, that's where it is, and we've on our replay website, KMMSAM.com, which you can't get to today, I guess, probably.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, when you can get over there, click on Tom and Shane's rebates or Tom and Shane's past shows or podcasts, and I'll leave the link in our description of the show. So it'll be there for you. You can also email me at tom@kmmsam.com. Just put rebate or tax in the subject line, and I'll be happy to send you the links to everything you need to know and where the forms are and all that. So happy to do that for you. We'll be talking about that every week until those rebates start showing up in people's mailboxes. So there you are, Shane.
Everybody's going to enjoy that, Mel.
Yes, they will. It's always nice to get money back, from the folks that
Or
whatever.
just to get some personal mail other than bills.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's nice to get a check instead of a bill, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I think most everything will be direct deposit, but I guess we'll see. So, all right. Next on our docket, judge sets August 14th for the Trump document case. Shane, what do you think? Do you think that's really going to happen, or are they going to ask for a continuance of that?
Well, it will happen at some point, but it'll be delayed till next year, because again, we in a great discussion on our podcast, we explained the difficulty of finding lawyers that can be utilized for his defense, because they have to get government clearance. We know how long it takes the government to do that. So if they don't have it, and which clearly, his lawyers will hire someone that's an expert in what they're dealing with, but doesn't have the clearance for the purpose of being able to. I'm just saying what I think. To delay it. Okay. He wants to go. He wants us to go into next year. Okay, it's to his advantage.
Okay. All right, the text line is working. Believe it or not, Shane, I've got some text coming in.
You got the text line back.
Yeah, I had to reload it, and now everybody's texting in, so we appreciate that. From our text line, 478-8298, Wagner Mercenary Group forces said to be marching toward Moscow after capturing Russian military facilities. Wagner chief Prigozhin is leading what he calls a march for justice to oust Russia's military leadership. So there you go, Shane. So we got
away in the first block. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go.
Oh, let's see. One theory is
that's a pretty big story, Tom. I mean, it is a big
story. Yeah. One theory is the Navy has classified tech. Another theory for withholding the information is a distraction from the IRS whistleblower revelations. That would be true too. So Trump appointed, based in Fort Worth, Texas, delivered a remedial lesson in civics to the administration. The Constitution demands equal treatment under the law, and I would go along with that. About time we got some of that. So. Let's see. You obviously didn't read the Durham report. It didn't debunk. It clearly showed Russian interference. No, it didn't. Durham said, without equivocation, there was no Russian interference by the Russians.
But, between all the investigation, your government spent, basically the Democrats spent well over $50 million, which your budget is like a period or a comma.
Yeah, I know.
But a sentence, but they still, it's just an absolute waste of money for them to get, for them to control the news cycle for whatever period of time. And it just it's so bad.
You're basing your opinion on congressman who wrote a narrative from the Durham report, not the actual report. Well, I'm reciting what Durham said to the Congress in his statement. No proof.
Well, and I just have to add on to that. Where's your claim that Durham lied to Congress, under oath? Well, they don't want to go there because so many secretaries under the Biden administration have literally lied to Congress.
Yeah.
Not to mention the 52 people from your security services signing the letter about his son's laptop. It's just like the Democrats made so much of Republicans lying to Congress and people went to jail because of it, but not Democrats. Oh no, they can lie all they want.
Yeah. Well, our phone lines apparently are down. People are texting in. They can't get through on the phone. So that must be tied to the internet somewhere along the line or whatever.
I'm going to hang up then so I don't have it running.
Yeah, you don't need the phone line. So, Durham didn't even interview any of the main players like Comey, Struck. He's a failure as far as I'm concerned. Well, he tried to, he can't, he has to have a reason for the subpoena. He can't just go on a fishing expedition. And he explained that. He explained why he didn't go after those people.
That's right.
You got to have probable cause. So. All right, we got
Which seems like a practical reason.
Well, yeah. Well, it is, yeah. Yeah, you can't just subpoena people and say, hey, I think you know something. Why don't you tell me what you know? Well, I don't know anything. Okay, we'll see you later.
Although in the case of a grand jury, if it's a federal offense that could result in prison time, you can bring in anybody you want that has to answer questions.
Let's see. Did the billionaires on the submarine leave the world a better place? I don't know. I don't know if they did or not, Shane.
That's a pretty harsh question.
Sort of, yeah. Brett Baer interview was golden. He caught Trump in so many lies, but your listeners probably don't like Fox News anymore because they're not kissing his butt. Yeah. If your listeners haven't seen it, you must watch Brett Baer interview with Trump. Brett showed how he released a woman who ran a multi-million-dollar drug ring, and he lied and said she was selling pot. So,
yeah, well, the actual charges that he let her out of jail for had nothing to do with that. And, she was basically in jail for 30 years because of possession of pot. So, I'm sure that when, you're in that situation, I mean, this is the president and the White House, and they have lawyers, and all these lawyers look through, there's 6 million people incarcerated in your country. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, you got to go through lists of people or recommendations or requests or people that have tried to, get somebody to hear what their case is. It's not an easy thing to do. And anyway, long story short, he made his choices, but nothing near, the number of people that Clinton and Obama let free. I mean, Clinton let a guy, go that not only that billionaire that was hiding in Switzerland, and and then he made a big contribution to their foundation. That's it's great stuff.
Yeah. It goes on and on. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Shane. I think the big guy that they keep quoting in the emails is Obama. It's not. It's not Biden. Biden would have been the second big guy. So I think.
And I'm glad I made that statement a month ago, because to me they made that clear in these emails they found with regard to his son, threatening the Chinese. My dad's sitting here with me. So there was no reference in those about the big guys sitting here with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just came out and said, when this occurred, apparently when Biden was vice president, but at his home in Connecticut, and what did they determined by phone pings that Hunter was at his dad's house when they made
made the call.
Yeah. Anyway, so with these phone calls and the texts, I'm now convinced that the big guy is Obama, because he had to know. There's no way he didn't know, Tom. Come on.
I would go along with that. So
I mean, I'll send you to Ukraine and Romania, and I'll send you to China, and you can go with your son, and the two of you can set it all up. But I get 10%.
There you go. All right. That's going to wrap it up for this segment. Hey, we've still got plenty to go. We've got to talk about a lot of things coming up here. Let's see. McCarthy, he's thinking about trying to expunge the Trump impeachments. We'll see how that works out. And, there's impeachments of Biden and Mayorkas going on, so we'll talk about those as well when we return. So stay tuned. Phones aren't working, so save your calls, I guess. So we'll be back right after the news. 27 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Saturday. It's June 24th, 2023. Let's get back to our text line. From a text line, 406-478-8298. Jack Smith has more Trump tapes. That man just can't keep his mouth shut. He's going to jail. Well, we'll see. You know, if he deserves to go to jail, then more power to him. I'm down with that. So. Let's see. One of your sponsors, Optima Tax Relief, must have had Biden as a client. That could be. After 5 years, all they could get Hunter Biden was tax evasion and a gun charge. Maybe there isn't anything there besides him grifting some stupid Chinese businessman out of some money. Years and years of investigation, Durham came up with nothing. What a waste of taxpayer dollars. Durham even admitted that Robert Mueller was a great guy. He also found the Russians did, in fact, interfere in our elections, and he did not find that and said so under oath to the committee. Hunter was discharged under administrative discharge. So, now, one or the other. Let's see, Section 8 and less than honorable. Well, Section 8 is normally a mental deficiency. That's what the guy in MASH, Klinger, tried to get away with. So yeah, I tried that. It didn't work. I mean, proof I'm nuts is right here. Let's see. Bill Gates, the main investor of a lab-created chicken. Well, we all know, said aloud about the COVID virus, didn't do what it was supposed to do. So Bill's trying it through chicken by rapidly developing cells in a lab. I don't know what's going on there, Jen. Can't get through the app or online either. Someone is sabotaging you in that studio. Start broadcasting from the Grand Tree. Oh, it's Jen. And she's in the car now, so she can hear us on the car radio, I assume. So there we go. So that cleans up our text line, Shane. So we got that going for us. Yeah, pretty good. So. Yeah, the app's not working. Phone lines aren't working. I tried the phone lines. Give me some bogus message. So it must all be tied in. Apparently, Town Square has some kind of problem that is nationwide from their IT department. So, and they've had it for a couple of weeks. So
no, they've had this for 3 years.
Well, on and off. Yes, that's true. All the way back to when we were hacked, if you remember that, Shane.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of IT department they have, but it's not very effective.
I know. They're not Chinese. It's obvious. So.
Or maybe they are.
I'm gonna have to rely on you, Shane, because I can't look up any of the topics that we're going to talk about. So.
Well, just give me time enough to type.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to type. All you got to do is click on them. Send them to you in the email.
I know that. I realize that. But you know me, I like to deep.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Go deep. I like to go deep.
Okay. Well, Special Counsel Jack Smith, he's offering fake electors immunity in the January 6th probe because, as you know, it's reported and alleged that Donald Trump sent fake electors to vote in the election, the electoral process. So we'll see. Jack says he's got some folks who are fake electors and they're willing to testify. So that could be bad news for the Donald.
And this is just a pile of Schiff. All right. This guy has nothing. So he creates something like they have for years. Why aren't they called whistleblowers? I mean, if he has offers from electors, then they're whistleblowers, and they've come to him and said, "Oh, I was offered money, or I was offered a job, or I was, it's just another what do we call it? A rabbit hole. It's another rabbit hole to jump down so that they can spend another couple of million and keep lawyers employed. And it's a terrible use of resources for your government, but that's what the Democrats do, buddy.
Well, we'll see. If he, I don't know if he has the authority to provide immunity or not. I realize he's a prosecutor, but that would have to be overseen by a judge, I would think. But I don't know.
Well, he's saying 6 witnesses testified before the grand jury, organized in Washington for the January 6th investigation. And during 4 days in the past 2 weeks, many of them centered around the fake electors plan. Yes, so it's just another, let's make up something else he did so we can go chase it and tell everybody and release it. I mean, what's going on in a grand jury is not, it's secretive. You're not supposed to release that. That's a 20-year term for every leak, and it just keeps it going. Anyway, it just goes on and on.
Well, he either has them or he doesn't, Shane. He either has them or he doesn't.
Well, it's worse than a faucet that froze up during the winter and you don't find it till spring, right?
Well, he either has them or he doesn't. So
he doesn't.
Well, he says he does.
No, he just had people in there and asked them questions about it so he could create it, and then leaked it.
Well,
the bottom line, it shouldn't have been leaked. This shouldn't even be a news.
Well, he didn't leak testimony. He just leaked who was in there.
No, he's leaking the accusation. That shouldn't have even been leaked.
Yeah.
The rules of the grand jury in your country are very specific. They're not, they're very specific, including the penalties for breaking them.
Well, I don't know that he gave any. He didn't give any names.
Well, not him, but somebody leaked it. I'm wrong to say he leaked it. Maybe somebody else did. I don't know.
Well, I don't know that I don't know that I would cover it as a leak, because he didn't name anybody's name that was in front of the grand jury. Didn't talk about any testimony before the grand jury. He simply said that if the fake electors, I'll give them immunity if they testify. That's all he said. So
okay, well, I appreciate that, but let's go back to an elector. An elector under your Constitution are appointed by state governments on an individual basis to represent the state in Washington. Very often they're members of the House, or they're even sometimes a senator, but not necessarily. They can be a common citizen. So the process to pick an elector has nothing to do with Trump or the president or anybody else. They can't create like fake electors to go in to vote. It's just boggles one's mind. Well, it boggles my mind.
Well, there were fake electors that went in both when Hillary Clinton was there and when Trump was elected. I mean, we know that.
Well, they weren't fake electors. What the argument is that twice in the history of your country, 2 presidents have been elected because electors were turned out by state houses because they wanted them to vote a specific way. The state house of the state ordered them to vote how to vote. So that's what we're talking about. So this is just, again, misdirection. Let's, but it's okay for us because you and I can talk about it because more about Trump.
True. Yeah,
we're really running out of subjects to talk about Trump. So this one should be good for 6 months, Tom.
Well, I would think so. Yeah. This is. Well, the January 6th probe's still going on. They still got to go to Georgia. They still got to talk about the documents with Alvin Bragg and or the stuff with Alvin Bragg in New York. And the documents in Miami and all of that, So we got quite a bit to talk about here between now and the election day of 2024.
Like I said, because this morning, folks, when we were talking about what we're going to talk about, we were saying, what's there to talk about Trump? And then, boom, up came this story.
I know.
Tom and I were going, oh, good, something new.
Well, getting back to that leaked email, supposedly were Hunter Biden has said he's sitting here with my dad next to me. To me, that sounds.
They defended him?
Huh?
Could you believe how the woke defended him?
Well, I would, that to me sounds like a bluff. That sounds like he's not really there. That sounds like a bluff to me because you mentioned it twice. Dad's right here next to me.
Well, I don't know about that. There's tapes apparently on phone calls with his father talking to the guy from,
Well, yeah, bring those
Ukraine.
tapes.
So I
Bring
don't.
those tapes
But
out. Yeah.
it was amazing this week on having to watch the woke media because they were saying, well, we're talking about a person who has a drug problem. Maybe he, just created this in his mind, and maybe it really wasn't true or maybe he was high when he did
Yeah.
this, or, I mean, like the cover your ass
Well,
comments are just,
yeah.
oh man,
I don't know. It's just the wording of it sounds, I don't know, sounds suspicious to me that he would mention Dad sitting here next to me twice, typing this email. I don't know. That seems a little bogus to me. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, what we do know is from our own experience from our podcast, people don't care about the Bidens.
Well, no, they don't.
When we talk about the Bidens, we have fewer listeners.
Yeah.
When we talk about Trump, we have hundreds more.
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we talk about Biden, we lose subscribers and minutes watched and everything else, but Trump comes in and away we go. Yeah, it's pretty.
Here we go, baby. Yeah,
it's pretty interesting. So, well, we'll see if these fake electors show up and what comes of that. I don't know, Shane. It could be a massive air balloon. But well, let's move on to McCarthy. He's backing an effort to expunge the Trump impeachments based on the Biden information that the Biden play for pay because that phone call to the Ukraine by Trump, man, that was pretty weak. That was a pretty weak argument.
Well, he's also going on the back of 2 million separate investigations, the Durham one and the other one we talked about. And the 50 million spent to do them, and plus the efforts of the House so far and the committees there, that it was all fake and made up, and it was. Anyway, long story short, Trump continues to be able to accelerate the legacy of his presidency.
Yeah,
because the House does have the right to expunge it, and there's nothing the Senate or the president can do about it. And so it's sort of like the Supreme Court, changing, a decision. Like this morning, they were talking about once again this decision about Roe versus Wade, and this is the biggest decision by the Supreme Court of reversing itself. No, the Scott decision was the biggest one about slavery.
Yeah.
You can't get bigger than that.
That's pretty big.
Nobody wants, but Americans don't know about the Scott decision by the Supreme Court over 100 years ago, that basically slavery was illegal. And because they had said it was legal before. That's where they came up with the definition of what was it? 1/10 of a person, a black person. They valued it 1/10.
Yeah, a quarter, I think it was.
Yeah, a quarter, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just this is going to go down in the history books because they will expunge it. And once again, the legacy of Trump is secured in history, and it keeps expanding. I mean, the volumes of books, they're going to be huge.
Oh, yeah. I would tend to agree with that.
Autobiographies, not biographies, but autobiographies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. We've got all these probes, all these, even if the Justice or the Oversight Committee shows absolute proof of Biden taking money from anybody, Merrick Garland still got to bring the action. The government can't bring an action against. So
we'll talk about being bitter. No question, Merrick Garland's bitter not being given the, Supreme Court
question
seat.
About that, yeah.
And about the autobiographies about Trump, I'd like just make a real quick observation. You know, all the professors that are out there
Yeah.
to maintain their seniority in the universities they work at, they have to produce stuff. They have to write stuff,
True. Yeah.
and it's owned by the university to create revenue, right? So
Publish or perish.
that's there you go, buddy. Publish or perish. So I can't wait for the historian that's going to have the oranges, as I call them, to write a autobiography or a historical reference or a historical book, if referencing the Trump presidency. I mean, what an idea! You're going to sell millions, number one, and make a fortune for the school. And then, you can take a year to write it to cover your gonads because you got to, produce or lose. So I'm waiting to see which historian it'll be.
Yeah, which will pan out. From our text line, 406-478-8298. For the love of God, Tom, you're confusing interference with collusion. Mueller fully documented Russian interference. Durham confirmed it, but Jeremy said there was no collusion. Understand the difference. Collusion is one thing, interference another. Get the difference. Well, I know the difference between the two. And Durham quite eloquently said no Russia interference was found.
Or collusion.
Or either one.
Yeah, he used both state. He said separately, no involvement, no collusion. I mean, separate state. And so did Molnar. Molnar did the same thing. So this person's like out to lunch.
Speaking of chicken, people should eat less of it. It's loaded with growth hormones. Look at pictures of people in the 1970s versus the hawks that we are today. There's no need for the human body. There's no need for the human body to have tripled in size. Well, I don't think it was fried chicken that did that.
Sure.
It could be. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's a member of my food group. I eat chicken, I eat pork, I eat shrimp, I eat salmon, I eat beef. I eat all the protein. I consume at least 8 to 12 ounces of protein a day. Bacon in the morning, is about I'll have 4 or 5 slices, so that's like 5-6 ounces, and another 6 to 10 ounces at dinner. That's what I do. So
there you go.
Got to have protein, baby. That's what your body needs.
What if it's true that Trump did have fake electors? Jack Smith has them, and I'm going with Jack Smith. So.
Okay, well, what if it's true that the big guy is Obama?
Yeah,
I'm going with Tom and Shane.
Yeah, there you are. The laptop from hell. Numerous banks reported suspicious bank activity around 11 LLC corporations set up to launder money for the Bidens. Credible FBI whistleblowers essentially testified that Hunter and Joe each received $5 million in bribes from Burisma to grease the way for acquiring an energy company in the U.S. Testimony from Hunter's previous business partner, Bobolinsky, that Joe was intimately involved with Hunter in their pay-for-play deals with Communist China, Russia, and others. The stench of corruption from the Biden family syndicate reaches all the way to Bozeman.
Yeah, well, the terrible thing about this is under the Patriot Act of 2001, you could have brought any amount of money from anywhere in or into the U.S., or out without declaring it. Now, anything over 10,000. Then they expanded it for the Treasury Department to track it. So here's the problem they have. Now you have every FBI director since 2012 and every Treasury Secretary since 2012. And this includes the Trump administration. Every Attorney General since 2012, not indicting, not charging, not imprisoning, not prosecuting anybody that have broken the rules, because the Treasury Department has this automated system that the bell goes off. If there's a transaction of over $10,000 in the U.S. or someone coming across the border with $10,000, if you can't explain it, you lose it. A guy last week, they had a story, came over the border or flew in with $100,000, couldn't explain where it was from or how he made it, lost it. And so it goes in the U.S. Treasury, the black hole of amazement. And this again is another example of failure to enforce the laws of your country. And anybody not doing that should be impeached. They should be thrown out. They should resign or be fired. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I would think so. So
I didn't mean to rattle that off so quickly. But
that's okay.
Time is of the essence.
It is, yeah. It's only a 3-hour show.
Yeah,
the entire grand jury process is flawed. Charges, whether true or not, are brought against someone. Then jurors are selected to hear only the prosecutor, and there's no defense or rebuttal from the defendant.
Well, it's all a case of common law from England, the development and setup of the grand jury. And the purpose of the grand jury is, because of what we've seen, false accusations or someone being prosecuted for false accusations. So under the code of the Federal Act, and in some states under state law, you have grand juries to consider charges by the prosecution, which is the government, against an individual. Now, it's not a very good one because the person being charged can't have a lawyer or be represented in it, but the prosecutor can come in and create whatever story. And, that's the reference to Stalin, show me a crime and I'll show you a ham sandwich, whatever.
Didn't Tester vote against the bill to overturn the pistol brace ban? The whole idea behind the pistol brace is to facilitate handicapped sports shooters and hunters. Does Montana require labeling for lab-grown meat? Have no idea. I have
a question for you. Did you see that Tester political ad that he did with that senator from what's the I'm Spartacus senator from New Jersey or whatever?
Blumenthal?
No, not Blumenthal. The African American bald-headed guy. I am Spartacus. During the
Booker.
Booker, yeah. Tester's done an ad a campaign ad with Booker about asking him, people to send Tester money for his campaign. I saw it on the Fox there. It was
I haven't seen that one. Yeah. Apparently, we need China to fight China due to our lack of rare earth mines in our and allied countries. Democrats say that no one, even the president, is above the law. So my question is, how come illegals are? I'll wait. You'll be waiting a long time.
A very long time.
That's the question we keep asking. So under Trump, of course, the illegal stayed in Mexico, but so. Let's see. Durham testified at no time and in no sense did we act with the purpose to further partisan or political ends. He broke with Trump on several points, praising both Mueller and Barr, both of whom Trump had publicly decried. He also affirmed that there was substantial evidence of Russian evidence in the 2016 presidential election. Well, if you want to believe Politico, be my guest.
Yeah, but they're misrepresenting what he said. He said they did try to interfere, but that interference was with companies in the United States like Google and Facebook.
Yeah.
So, but it had nothing to do with Trump. The point was, they did, but no one. Anyway.
Yeah.
Deny.
That's it. All right. Hey, we still got a full hour to go. Trust me on this. I've done this before. So we'll be back, like it or not. Without phones, we do have a text line, though, so all's good with the world. We can get the liberals in, so we're happy to have those guys with us, as well as all of you listening on the radio. Nothing on the stream. Text line doesn't, or the app chat line not working, so... But, hey, we're here, and the replay of this will be up about 11:30, so if you missed any or all of it, by all means, you can hear it there. So we'll be back with more Tom and Shane right after the news. 7 minutes after the hour, it is Saturday. It's June 24th, 2023, 7 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing, in witness protection in Kamloops, and Tommy Glump, your morning mayor, in the house. like it or not. And the text lines are lit up, Shane. So we don't
That's
have.
good.
I tried the phone line, and no, we don't have any phones. So
No,
well,
I keep trying to call too, and
yeah, I know it's not. It's not happening.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. You obviously are a binary thinker. I'm conservative. I'm a conservative, never Trumper like so many others. Charles Krauthammer, who's dead. Charlie Dent, all the Bushes, George Will. So if you call them liberals, you must be in a cult. Well, if you're a never Trumper, then what's wrong with what's wrong with what McCarthy's doing? What's wrong with what the Turtle is doing? What's wrong with what Gianforte's doing? Why do you care? Why do you care what I think?
That's right. Not only that, why do you care? Over 75 million people voted for Trump in 20. So
yeah, I don't have a problem with DeSantis. You know, if he's the president, that's fine. If Biden's the president, that's fine. I'm going to be here commenting on whoever it is. Doesn't matter which one it is. I just favor Trump because I like success, and his list of successes are by far outweigh any other candidate that's running right now. So that's why.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
I don't really care what he did before he got in office because, so what? He could cheat all the charities he wanted. He could have fake universities. He could have fake shoes, fake steaks, fake wine. I don't care what he did in his private life. That's between him and his customers. So what I care about is what he did while he was in office. And he did a lot.
Yeah, you've gone over it for 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Gee, only 16 weeks?
Take a drive out on Garfield behind Rose Hours. There's an opportunity zone out there, thanks to Trump. They got thousands of people out there working, thanks to Trump. He got That's people out of jail, mostly black, with First Step. He did the right to try, where terminal people can now try experimental drugs not available in the United States if they want. Gave more money to black colleges than any other president in history. So give me a break. Kept people in Mexico while they were waiting for their day in court. Are you better off now than you were then?
That's right. It's just, it's quite amazing.
Please correct your misstatement that Durham said no Russian interference. Well, I heard him say it.
It's on tape.
He's in front of Congress under oath saying exactly that. I didn't criticize McCarthy except that he's owned by the alt-right nuts like Rosendale. Trump's successes are a lie. Well, they're documented. I mean, if they aren't moving ground out there behind Rose Hours, I don't know what they're doing. So... do you think Rose Hours land would not be built if not for opportunity zones? I have a bridge. Your dementia, he didn't say it. Oh.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, all I can do is lead you to water. I can't make you drink. Why is it when I hear someone say I'm highly educated, all I hear is I'm fully indoctrinated? Yeah, you don't have to comment.
No, I'm trying to check on the site, and every time I upload it, I hear advertising, but I don't hear any show.
Yeah, there's no show. Yeah, the app's down, the phones are down, internet's down here. I can't. I'm amazed that I can get the text line just fine. So
yeah. I
have to reload it every now and then, but other than that, it seems to work fine. So let's see. If you refuse to admit you heard wrong, I give you link to Durham's words. Durham, he broke with Trump on several key points, praising both Mueller and Barr, both of whom Trump had publicly decried. He also affirmed that there was substantial evidence of Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Fine. Go for it.
Exactly.
Who cares? It's over. Why didn't the Russians help Trump in 2020? What's the reason why didn't they help Trump in 2020?
I don't know. I just hope that some woke person accuses Trump of creating this coup in Russia. Then we'll have something else to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of woke, Shane, somebody weeks ago asked me on the text line, I don't think I read it at the time, but wanted to know what my definition of woke is. And I've been thinking about that for the past 3 weeks, and I have a 3-word definition for woke. Feelings over truth.
Ooh.
So there you are. That's my definition.
I think woke is, one of these things that you look at and you go, wide open knockout. There you
go. Okay. From our text line, so you heard wrong. It's not over. Russia interfered in 2020. So what? Biden's president. What do you want me to do?
Exactly.
Biden was elected. There's no proof that Trump won. All right? Give it up. Jeez, get a life. Besides that one. Let's talk about the McCarthy wanting to expunge Trump's 2 impeachments, Shane. I don't know that that's ever been done in government before. There haven't been that many impeachments of presidents, but there have been a few. But
well, they've expunged laws and
yeah, they've done this before.
Acts. Yeah, they've done it before. But
I'm just wondering what's the precedent for doing this, or is this a brand new precedent? I guess maybe it would be. I don't know of any presidents that had their impeachment expunged. Nixon was pardoned, but the impeachment's still on the books. Well, he wasn't impeached; he resigned.
That's right.
Yeah.
Before he could be impeached.
Yeah. So.
Because he didn't want to be impeached.
Yeah.
He'd rather go down. Nixon would rather have gone down as the first president to resign than to be impeached.
Yeah.
I mean, successfully impeached.
Yeah. Well, Clinton was, but he was found innocent by the Senate. And
President Johnson, after Lincoln, was.
Yeah. But I wonder what the process for that is. Does that take a 60-vote majority? I bet it would.
Expunging? No, it's just a simple majority from what I read.
Really? Okay. In both houses, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's got to be both houses.
No, just in the House, because the House impeached him.
Well, yeah.
The Senate tried him, so they can't expunge, what they did, the trial.
Well, I don't.
You can't expunge the trial, but you can expunge the legislation to impeach him.
Okay, I'm gonna have to. I wish I could look that up now, but I can't.
Lucky me.
I hate to take your word for anything that I can't look up and confirm.
Well, thanks, Thomas.
That's okay. That. Yeah, that's all right.
Nice compliment. That's kind of you.
Well, I like to. There are things I question, and
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But you could do it. You don't have to do it on the air. You can,
I understand. There doesn't have to be. Well, come on, grow a pair, be a man.
Well, I have
you can take it
because I designate myself as a double holding here.
Yeah. Okay. But I would think both houses of Congress would have to be involved in that. If they're involved in impeachment, I think both houses would have to be involved in an expunging of anything. But I don't know. I can't look it up. So we'll see, I guess. By the same token, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bobart want to bring impeachment against Biden for taking money from Burisma. They know they're pretty positive he got $5 million from Burisma. So, so whether or not that's going to fly or not, but there's no way that a Democrat Congress is going to impeach Biden. I don't. As I've said before, he could shoot the Pope on the White House lawn,
Ooh, you
and they're
lost
not
that
gonna,
one.
and they're not going to impeach him.
There you go.
They just won't.
No, of course they
I mean,
won't.
do you think they will?
Well, they'll have to if more evidence comes out. I mean, you can't ignore it. You know, it's like playing poker and you get a pair of aces and don't bet them.
Yeah.
Like you
Well,
can't ignore them.
well, I don't. I don't think that. I can't imagine the charge against proven against Biden. I can't imagine the charge proven against Biden in Congress that would result in his impeachment. I can't fathom what that would be, what charge it would be.
It's just oh my God, that's great.
He's not the best second banana on radio for nothing, friends. President Trump was the best president in my lifetime, and I've been around since Eisenhower. Conversely, China Joe Biden, the most corrupt, incompetent, treasonous liar to ever despoil the halls of the White House.
Wow.
You go with that, Shane?
That's
going
a
for that
tough
one?
one, isn't it?
Everyone's talking about watching Brett Barr. Watch Jesse Waters interview the owner of the gun shop that that he was raided in our state. Yeah, we saw that on the air. Yeah. Oh, let's see. So he admit Russia helped Trump twice. No, they didn't, because he didn't succeed second time. I mean, if it worked once, why would it work twice?
Well, because they're so good at it.
Yeah. All you got to do is go to the Google YouTube where they have their after 2016 meeting, and how they're all hanging their heads and swearing this will never happen again. And Russia has no way of interfering in our election that I'm aware of. But Google and Twitter and Facebook all do. They're connected directly to the American people. The Russians are not. So, there you are. All right.
There you go.
Yeah. Let's see. Why would Russia help Trump win twice unless they knew he would be favorable to Putin? Well, he wasn't favorable to Putin. He put sanctions on Putin. He bombed their troops in Syria. Come on. So, Trump's the best con man and salesman. He lies, sells you lies, so that is why you love him. Yeah, I love liars, but I also love success.
That's great.
Russia helped Trump twice, according to you. Trump was so bad it didn't help the second time. Yeah, Biden was so much better. From his basement. Yeah.
That's good.
It was so much better. And I mean, you've only had 2 years to see how competent Biden is. I mean, it's undeniable how competent this guy is.
That's right.
You're not aware of how Russia interfered because you refused to read the Mueller report and examining it. The Mueller report didn't say anything. Mueller didn't have anything to do with writing the report. He was clueless. He was as clueless as Biden when he testified in front of Congress as to what was going on with the Biden report, or the Mueller report. Sorry, got Biden on my brain.
The interesting thing is that, to me, the incredible difference between Mueller and how he presented himself before Congress and Durham, and in both cases, the Democratic woke representatives tried to discredit it. Yeah. Both of them, because they didn't want to agree with what they wanted them to report. Mm-hmm. And so that's a sad analysis of this. You would think if you were a congressman and a guy named Mueller comes in and says, no, none of this happened, you would ask him, well, what did go on, or who was involved, and was it, you know, that you'd want to search out the truth of what went on. How did this come about?
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of disappointing that none of them were statesmen and stood up and did that. They just wanted to come up with an excuse that would justify their actions, and that's sort of unfortunate. It really is. But
Yeah.
history will record it.
Yes, it will. All right. Your sound is great, but your picture's frozen, Shane. So just
yours keeps freezing on me too.
Just so you're aware of that, yeah.
Yeah.
From our text line, 406-478-8298, someone please make an anti-pride flag bumper sticker. Well, you can go to Cafe, what's the name of the place, Shane? I think we lost Shane. Try again, Shane. What is it? Cafe Fresh? I don't know. You can make your own bumper sticker at some of these places. If I could look it up now, I would and let you know where you can make your own bumper sticker. Tom, your patience with these liberal snowflakes is amazing. We certainly hope so. Let's see if I can get Shane back on the line here. I don't know if I can get him or not, so we'll try. Let me see if I can crank him back up here. Get rid of that. And there he is. Okay. And I'll give him a call. And we'll see if we can get him back on. So, yeah, Tom, your patience with these liberal snowflakes is amazing. I'll have to go along with that. It's fun. I got to admit that. I'm not sure where Shane is. He's not there. So, and he can't call in. So we may have to persevere without him. So we'll see. Maybe he can find his way back in. So, let's see. The other thing we need to talk about here is that Rosendale is weighing his bid to challenge Tester in Montana, and I don't know. Tester's pretty well ingrained in the state as to whether Tester can overcome that or not. I don't know. We're not the red state that we once were, so it's hard to understand the thinking of the voters in Montana as we persevere into 2020 or 2024 rather. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I know Right on John, I talked to him yesterday. He is thinking about running also, and he could run on that side of the state. We've got 2 districts now in Montana, so it would be very possible for him to get in there as well. So it'll be interesting to see that particular race as we move into 2024 as to how those are going to work. So yeah, Shane's we're not getting Shane at all. So unfortunately, bummer. So he's more fun than I am. So, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get him in here. We'll keep trying over the break and see what's going on. So, meanwhile, let's see from our text line, 478-8298, Hunter felonies reduced to misdemeanors. The Trump civil penalties upgraded to felonies. Proof we no longer have a constitutional republic. And I would have to agree with that. It certainly seems like we do have a 2-tier justice system. The great thing is, and I am so thankful that Merrick Garland is not on the Supreme Court. I can't imagine the Supreme Court with somebody like him on there. It would just be, I don't know, beyond. Did anyone else see the horrible Booker Tester commercial? Well, Shane mentioned it earlier that it was going on. So yeah, it was quite a commercial, I guess. From our text line, Love Rosendale, he'll be speaking at a Republican luncheon soon. Hope to see you there. Well, if it's any time other than on a Saturday, or if I'm doing a podcast, I will try to get there because yeah, it'd be nice to talk about. So. Let's see. Trump did one election. What Putin spent millions trying to do, get Americans to doubt our democratic process. He's owned by Putin. I'm not a liberal. Conservatives do not support liars and Trump. Well, who do you support? Give me that. Who do you support? If one of those. Who are you betting on in the cage match? Zuck or Musk? Well, I got to give it to Musk. I think if Musk can get Zuckerberg on the ground, it's over. So I don't know what's going on there. So, gee, I've got the head guy in here watching me. Got Scott's in here because we're having all kinds of problems. The phones don't work. I'm lucky I got a text line. I can't believe I have that. So, but anyway, we're going to try to get all this sorted out. We'll try and see if we can get Shane back on, and we'll be back right after the news at the bottom of the hour. It's Saturday, June 24th, 2023. Tom and Shane on Saturday. We'll be back right after the news at the bottom of the hour. 27 minutes for the top of the hour. Welcome back, everyone. Happy to have you along with us. Thanks for joining us. We're having some issues with our with our Wi-Fi and whatever, so we're trying to see if we can get it worked out. We've got no phones, we got no internet with Shane, so I'm trying to see if I can get a hotspot with my phone to see if we can get online somehow with that. But I'll keep trying and see if I can get that figured out, how to get that going. So we'll see. So I hope it'll work somehow or other. But so far, not having any luck. So, but we'll persevere on. Let's see the other things we got to talk about. Almost half of Medicare recipients reviewed in April in Montana lost coverage. Most of the coverage was lost because they didn't fill out the necessary forms to do that. So we're gonna keep abreast of that and see what's going on with Medicaid, because we've got all these people that want to have that obviously they need Medicaid badly, and the fact that we don't have people don't have it is going to be serious for a lot of people who need those protections that Medicaid and Medicare offer. But so if you're one of those folks, you can contact the local Medicare people. I would say if you don't know where they are, I would look it up right now, but there's no internet, so I'm kind of flying blind here with a lot of the things that we had planned to talk about today, but I can't access them. So I'm kind of flying a little blind here, with the exception of our text line seems to be working. So at least thankful I got some communication with folks out there. So let's go to the text line, 478-8298. Hunter, felonies reduced to misdemeanors. Trump, civil penalties upgraded to felonies. Proof we no longer have a constitutional republic. And yeah, you'd be pretty well right on that score, that it seems that, whatever you do, whether it's legal or illegal, it's pretty much a confusion as to how, to what your last name is. So, I'm not sure what that means, but we'll see how this plays out. So, Biden's accomplishments, disgraceful exit from Afghanistan, resulting in 13 American dead, $50 billion in military equipment left behind for the Taliban, open borders with untold millions invading, inflation at decades-long highs, shakes hands with non-existent people, complete failure on every level. And, if you're still buying into Biden, I would say you're the cult out there. I mean, it's just, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine anyone would vote for Biden. I find that literally impossible to fathom. Knowing what you know now, I mean, you've seen the guy in action. You've seen his speeches. You've seen his gaffes. You've seen how he, he barely knows where he is. And I wish I had phone lines so that people could call me and say, hey, here's why I'm voting for Biden. He did this, he did that, he did whatever. So let's see. Trump did in one election what Biden spent millions trying to do, get Americans to doubt our Democrat process. He's owned by Putin. Well, I would disagree. I think Putin is Trump's bitch. I'm not liberal. Conservatives do not support liars like Trump. Well, who do you support? Who do you support? I don't see that here. All I hear is you bashing Trump, but you're talking that you're not a liberal. Well, what do you support? Tell me what you support. Tell me what Biden's done that you disagree with. Tell me what DeSantis has done that you're so hot for. If I told you that tariffs are not conservative, protectionism is not conservative, but liberal, you Trumpers are liberal. So who are you betting on in the cage match? Yeah, I think Musk will take Zuckerberg with no problem. I think that's pretty well a done deal. Let's see, Love Rosendale, he'll be speaking at the Community Health Center on Medicaid coming up. So we hope that some folks will get out there. And as I mentioned, a lot of folks have lost their Medicaid because of not filling out the forms or not applying correctly to get there. So hopefully those folks can get whatever they need and get the help that they so rightfully deserve. Let's see. Joe Biden could sexually assault a minor on camera, and the Democrats would be perfectly fine with it. You'd have to be mentally ill to be a Democrat. The Trump derangement syndrome is proof alone. And I would go along with that somewhat, that the fear of Trump it's always amazed me how fearful. If we want to talk to the conservative who says, I'm not a liberal, I'm a conservative, why the fear of Trump? What's the fear? As I mentioned earlier, he did a lot of great things. He kept the border closed. He started building the wall until Biden stopped it. He okayed the Keystone Pipeline, which would have brought $90 billion every single year it's in existence to some of the poorest counties in Montana, with property taxes paid for by a foreign government. What's wrong with that? I mean, give me a break. I gave more money to black colleges than any president in history. He kept the border secure. He got people out of jail with First Step. He did right to try, where terminally ill patients can try medications approved in other countries that are experimental. But why not? Why not the right to try? So, I mean, there's the list of his accomplishments are pretty much endless. Tax cuts. It goes on and on and on. DeSantis is a successful government, not incompetent like Trump. Doesn't like Trump. Doesn't want to be a dictator like Trump. Trump doesn't want to be a dictator. All Trump has talked about is make America great again. America first is what Trump has always talked about, is putting America first. Never Trumper here. I support Asia Hutchinson, Tim Scott, Christie, DeSantis. Any of those would be fine with me. If Trump's not if Trump's not elected, I'd be happy with Tim Scott. I'd be happy with Christie. I'd be happy with DeSantis. Any of those three would be fine with me. Even Christie or Nikki Haley. I don't have a problem with her. I mean, she was a ambassador to the UN. Trump has never made a decision that didn't bend himself first. He lies. Well, how did stopping the border and building a wall benefit him? What about the Keystone Pipeline? Okaying that. How'd that benefit him? How does right to try benefit him? I mean, come on. How does contributing to college funds benefit him? Trump salutes in Korea, General. Biden exit was the same as if Trump. I don't think so, because you don't tell the opposition when you're leaving. You don't say, hey, we're going to be gone on this day. And he also left 1,000 folks behind at the U.S. Embassy there. So please, give me a break on that. A new product full of Schiff adult diapers, engineered for leakers. All right, there you go. Wish Shane could have heard that one. Oh, man. Let's see. What else? Yes, I fear Trump. He's a narcissist who lies. Well, are you going to tell me Biden hasn't lied? You going to tell me that? So, all right. Let's see. Try internet again. All right. We'll try that. See if we can get anything out of here. So let me give it a quick shot here and see if I can get one of these things up here. So far, no good. Nope, not happening. So, all right. So, I don't know. All right, back to our text lines, since that's our main form of communication here with everybody. Let's see. Trump lies cost 150,000 American lives. Are you going to tell me that Biden would have handled COVID any differently than Trump did? Are you going to tell me that? I mean, that's just crap. That to pull that up, to blame whoever is in office at the time. More people died under Biden than died under Trump. Trump sent a hospital ship to New York from Miami that wasn't needed. Trump built a hospital in the Javits Center in New York that wasn't needed. Give me a break. He lied about the wall, didn't build it. Oh, he built some of it, and he built some replacement wall. I mean, and the wall is down there, paid for, just sitting there rusting because Biden won't put it up. So, why do I refuse to list Trump's failures? Give me one. Give me one while he was in office. Give me something when he was in office that he failed at. And I'll be happy to confirm it. Wall benefit Trump, fear of brown people. BS. Are you happy that the influx of illegals that you have to pay for? You've got to pay for them. They need 3 squares a day. They need a place to stay. They need housing. They need medical care. They need schooling. Are you happy to pay for all that crap? I don't think so. He did a lot of great things while he was in office, but if you're going to throw up, he didn't like brown people. He gave more money to black colleges than any other president in history, including Obama. The fact that he's some kind of racist is just pure crap. There's no evidence of Trump being racist in any way, shape, or form. He didn't like illegal alien criminals coming across the border. That's true. And I don't think any of us like that. But the unprecedented numbers of people coming across the border And if you don't want to impeach Mayorkas, uh, you have a definite some kind of problem that I would have to. I would suggest you seek political help or mental help or something with that, because he has handled the border off the charts really, really badly. So, yeah, so I don't know. The ignorance of the left is a direct result of the corrupt media. Indoctrination by schools and their brainwashed minds is irrevocable. I would have to agree with that. So, one thing I love about conservative women, I never have to ask myself, is that a woman? You're right on that one. I wish Shane could have heard that one. That would be pretty good. Tom, the gay crowd doesn't realize that the rainbow colors are the signs of God's love. His promise to never again flood the whole earth. Each time they wave those colors, they are reminding us, all of us, of God's love and kindness. Well, try to tell if anybody says there shouldn't be any law or anything about who you love, just tell them you love Jesus and watch that response. And I think you'll find that, no, that's not going to work with liberals. I like that Trump lives rent-free in all the Trump haters' heads. Yes, he does. They live a sad life, living in fear of the big bad orange man. What a bunch of crybabies. And I'd have to... I don't understand. I don't understand the fear of Trump. I just don't. He's one guy. You know, are you so fearful he'll be elected? What do you think is going to happen? What, is he going to take over the military and, come to Montana and surround Bozeman and put us all in, Uyghur prison like they do in China? Is that what you think is going to happen? What could Trump possibly do as president with the checks and balances of a Supreme Court and the Senate and the House of Representatives? What's the fear? What do you think he's going to do? He can propose anything he wants, but Congress has to appropriate the money. All money bills start in the House. You know, is there a politician you can think of that haven't enriched themselves while they were in office? Give me a list. Give me, what's Pelosi worth making $174,000 a year? What, millions? Come on, these guys go into office, they come out millionaires. How does that work? And you think, and you're worried about Trump? Jeez. The Bidens are a walking deadly sin, every one of them, and these people that hate Trump are dope sick. The last lib text is such a bigot. Well, there you go. Yeah. Shane will tell you the definition of a bigot is someone who is intolerant of another person's point of view. And I don't know. I don't enjoy Aaron Flint's show because he constantly interrupting people on his show and does not let them finish their conversation. Biden's open border sure has made the valley's non-English speaking Latino population explode, all with several kids and one in the belly. So in defense of Aaron, I've been on Aaron's show and I filled in for Aaron numerous times. Aaron's show is full of commercials. You've got about 6 minutes of airtime between commercials there, 5 to 6 minutes. Sometimes it's only 4 minutes. So in many cases, he may interrupt someone who is taking too long to make a point or something like that. So in his defense, he is under time constraints. We have a full half hour straight from the bottom to the top of the hour. So it's pretty easy for us to let people make their point, and talk for a little while. Sometimes I let them talk too much, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. So, let's see. I fear dictators who have a cult. I still I don't understand. What does Trump not have a cult? Does Biden not have a cult? Are you kidding me? The woke cult? Are you the Bud Light Target? Is that not a cult of Biden? Are you kidding me? Trump was going to declare martial law to hold power. He can't. He can't. Send a mob to keep power and overthrow the election. He didn't. Grew government to record levels. Okay. Added $2 trillion in debt. Were you the benefit of that $2 trillion in debt? Did you not get your 1,200 or 2,400 or 600 or whatever of free cash in your direct deposit? Give me a break. Are you kidding me? Yeah, Biden cut the debt because the COVID stuff expired. Yeah, right. Downplaying a pandemic, demonize the doctors. We've seen that the pandemic was way overblown. The doctors had no idea what was going on. The boosters and the shots for younger people haven't proven to be any more effective than just being yourself. And this went on and on. He cut safety regs on chemical trains. No, presidents can't do that. Presidents just can't wave their wand and cut regulations on things. That goes to the Secretary of Transportation. And, if that was done, then it was done with the blessing of whoever was in charge of transportation at the time. Cut regulations on mines can now pollute our rivers. Wanted to declare martial law. Wanted to. He did send the mob. I got $20 and our kids got $2 trillion in debt. Trump buddies got billions in tax cuts. Well, the poor also got $48,000 a year in transfer payments of Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, age-dependent children. The list goes on and on. So if you think the poor are poor, they're not. So, let's see. What else we got here? There must be more. Come on. All right. I was so disappointed that Craig didn't make it to the Grand Tree because I had a personalized Democrat sympathy card in hopes he might get better and join the factual side, positive side of America. Message to Craig from Right On John. So, all right, John. It was a pleasure meeting Right On John the other day at the Trump. I got Trump on the brain. At Aaron Flint was at the Grand Tree on Friday morning. I joined him for a partial part of that time. And Right On John was there, and some other great listeners were there. Happy to meet all you folks. It's so great to meet listeners out in the real world, we really appreciate you guys so much. The show, we would be nothing without you guys out there listening. And I apologize for this morning that we don't have our text line or our phone lines working or our app chat line working. So, but at least we've got some things going on. So, why was the government running a surplus in 2017 when Trump cut taxes? No, he added $2 trillion, so his donors got billions. No, he didn't. All you got to do is go to the IRS website and look at the tax rates before Trump and after Trump. That's all you got to do. That's it. That's all you got to do. Craig here. I'm not a Democrat, John. I'm a never Trump conservative. Well, John is an alt-right cultist. Would have loved to debate him. Well, where were you, Craig? Now, it's an open forum down there. You could call in, you could do whatever, so, but, if if you're so fearful of Trump, man, there are, how many people do we have running? We've got DeSantis, we've got Christie, we've got Nikki Haley, we've got Tim Scott, we got Asia Hutchinson, we got Vivek Ramaswamy. Who am I leaving out? Corey, our own Corey here from. All right. Shane would want me to tell you to live to work, live in the moment, come through the door with a smile on your face, because that's the way your family wants to see you. And I appreciate everybody. Thanks for your help here in this last half hour here with no phones and no internet. So I really appreciate you guys helping me out on the text line and all the other things you do. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for me. It's been great being with you here. So maybe next week things will be better. Who knows? But we'll be here regardless. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see everybody next week. I am out of here.